All right, now let's check in with Mike Siona to see what he's up to this morning. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning indeed. We are down here at the Royal Canadian Legion with the one and only Malcolm Young ahead of tomorrow's Remembrance Day services in Saskatoon. And a couple of big anniversaries this year. We want to talk first and foremost about 25 years since the repatriation at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having us. Yes, very much. This year, there's a couple of anniversaries we're commemorating, but the 20th anniversary, the repatriation, as you mentioned, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, is a key one. May of 2000, the remains of a single Canadian soldier whose remains are unidentified were repatriated from Vimy, France, in a cemetery there, brought back to Ottawa, interred in the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And now that put Canada in the same position as 60 other countries that have those tombs. This year, what we're going to do is put that in context. There's over 27,000 Canadians who have died in service, whose remains are either unidentified or have not been found. And so we're going to highlight 4 of those members, and 2 of them are examples here. As you'll see on the wall over to the right, just over my shoulder, there's a good example of naval service. And so Petty Officer Douglas Robertson from Saskatoon, who was actually a painter at the Empire Hotel, he joined the Royal Canadian Navy and he served on the HMCS Regina. He served for almost 2.5 years on the Regina, off the coasts of Canada, coasts of England, as far as Algeria, Africa, with the Regina, and that was a corvette vessel designed to protect convoys. In August of 1944, the Regina was just off the coast of Cornwall, England, and it was attacked by a German submarine and sunk with a loss of lives of 30 sailors, including Douglas Robertson. And then also you have a photo over here of Lieutenant Albert Newberry. Albert was actually from Vancouver, from British Columbia. He joined an Highland unit, but then when he got to England, he was transferred to our own Saskatoon Light Infantry regiment here in Saskatoon. Has a long history. Albert deployed with the rest of the regiment to the invasion of Sicily and fought during the first whole month of Sicily. He went on a reconnaissance mission and was never seen again. And those 2 men are emblematic of the over 27,000 Canadians whose remains have not been found.
Absolutely incredible. I don't know how you jammed all of that into a 2-minute little segment there. We'll talk about the other anniversary that is being commemorated this year, and that, of course, is 80 years since the end of World War II, and we'll talk about that as the morning continues.
Thanks, Mike, so much. More Remembrance Day coverage to come later this morning.
We're continuing to tee up Remembrance Day services across the province, so let's turn things back over to Mike Siona in Saskatoon. Mike, good morning.
Good morning indeed, coming at you from the Royal Canadian Legion, Branch 63, with the one and only Malcolm Young here, as we mark 80 years since the end of World War II this year.
Yeah, that's correct. In World War II, over 70,000 Saskatchewan citizens served during the conflict. And as with the march of time, there are fewer and fewer World War II veterans with us. And we always talk about numbers, but what we really want to talk about today is an example of the kind of men and women that served. And so over here what we have is a picture of Regimental Sergeant Major Roger Strum. Roger joined the regiment, the 105th Saskatoon Fusiliers, which is now known as the North Saskatchewan Regiment, as a boy soldier prior to 1914. He served in the First World War and served right up till 1950s. But Roger was part of the South Saskatchewan Regiment that landed in 1942 on the beaches of Dieppe. And that particular raid was a test raid for how the Allies were going to do the invasion of Normandy 4 or 2 years later. Roger was wounded on the beaches and had to be evacuated, but he went on to recover from his wounds and served, and he was a foundational member of our community. And over here we have Hugh Fraser. Hugh Fraser was a member of the Cameron Highlanders, and Hugh actually went back, landed in Juno Beach post D-Day, but went on to fight at Dieppe in 1944. And so there's a connection between these 2 gentlemen. They're from Saskatchewan. They both fought at Dieppe, but the reality is they came home and they made a significant contribution. In Hugh's case, he was the Deputy Chief of Police. And so we are honoring the World War II generation and the veterans that survived today. We've lost 8 World War II veterans passed away in this last year, and so we will honor them. And we ask all of our citizens to come out to Remembrance Service at SaskTel Centre this year, not specifically for anniversaries, but for that 11 o'clock moment where as a country we stop for 2 minutes and we pause and in silence and think about what the contribution of these men and over 70,000 Saskatchewan citizens was during the Second World War.
No doubt about it. Lest we forget, we'll have all of the details on that SaskTel Centre ceremony and find out what the role of the Legion is today and moving forward when we come back later this morning.
All right, truly important. Mike, thank you very much. We'll see you in a little while.
Well, one more time here at the Royal Canadian Legion, Branch 63 with Malcolm Young, ahead of tomorrow's Remembrance Day services at SaskTel Centre. Malcolm, give us the details.
Right, so tomorrow is our 94th service since 1931 when the first service was commissioned. Doors will open tomorrow at 9. Live coverage starts at 9:30. The actual ceremony starts at 10:30. And it's an opportunity for Saskatoon residents to come in the thousands, as they normally do, and show their respects to the veterans, which will be on parade, but more importantly, together as a community to remember. The service itself, our reviewing officer this year is Major General Chris McKenna, the commander of 1 Canadian Air Division, who has a Saskatchewan connection. His wife's family is from Saskatoon, so that's important for us as well. But the most important part is that our fellow citizens come and gather and remember. And for those who can't, they can go to saskatoonremembers.ca, view it live stream there, or get the other details about other ways of viewing the service as well.
Absolutely, and the details on the bus service and things like that are on that website as well. Transportation, of course, provided. But we want to talk quickly here in the last 45 seconds that we've got you this morning about the role that the Legion plays today and moving forward into tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. So the Legion's been around since 1926, and it was created primarily by the veterans of World War I. So the ceremonies, the traditions that we do are harken back to them. So we follow the guidance of our predecessors. We commit to their memory, following the ceremony as the way people see it on November 11th. But what the Legion also does is through the Poppy campaign and the generosity of folks, the money goes directly to support veterans. We also do things like home programs. So if a veteran is in their home, doesn't have to be a member of the Legion, and they need some support, we will send people out to visit them, and that comfort is important to them. And for veterans, when they finally pass on, the family may ask for some form of military contribution to the service, so we'll send an honor guard. So we support our veterans both in terms of their life and at the end. And we're very focused on that as part of our tenet.
A lot of community and that built-in rapport here at the Legion. Truly, thank you very much for the time this morning. Of course, tomorrow is Remembrance Day across the country.